Already, guys.
Can you all see me now?
There's still a little lag, but I think it's okay. It's not too
I'll
much,
check
honestly.
if I can. Because I removed the background. I thought maybe that is the case, but I'll remove the background. Other apps also
That's
I'll lose.
that's cool. So I think we are live, guys, finally.
Yeah.
So hi everyone, welcome to this very, very amazing, interesting session of women, mental health, and diabetes. First of all, are you guys able to hear everyone, see and hear
Yeah,
everyone all good? Awesome. How are you guys doing today?
all good.
All
All good.
fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nupur, I think we'll just wait for Nupur to join in also. And I think let's start talking in about a minute's time. Let's see, let everyone join in. Nupur, shall we get started then?
Yeah, I think good to go. I'm just sharing the link quickly so that it reaches
Yeah,
everyone
cool.
on all the platforms. Thanks.
Awesome, cool. So, let me just welcome everyone who's already here, and everyone who will be watching this a little later. So, welcome to Blue Circle Diabetes Workshop. It's a workshop that's conducted every Sunday on Facebook Live. These workshops are basically to talk about diabetes and related topics. And the best part is that we do it by ourselves, people living with diabetes talking to other people living with diabetes. So, we know what we're all talking about over here. One part of it is Project Gaia. That is, it's focused on women with diabetes in India and the way we lead our lives, and everything that comes along with living with diabetes here. And as part of today's Facebook live panel, today we'll be discussing diabetes, women, mental health, and just wanted to talk about the fact that it's an inclusive community for people with all sorts of diabetes. So today you're going to find people living with type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, gestational diabetes, and we're missing Smita today, who's type 3C, who's also a very interesting type person to talk to, but unfortunately she's a little unwell today, so unfortunately she can't join us. But I want to welcome all you guys today, and let's get our introductions going. Nupur, starting with you since you are on the top left.
Thank you, Nishta. Hi, everyone. My name is Nupur, and I've had type 1 diabetes since the past 27 years. Over to the next person, Ketki, maybe.
So thanks, Nupur. Hey everyone, good evening. I am Ketki. I tomorrow I have my 18th anniversary, which means that my diabetes is turning into an adult tomorrow. I am a type 1 diabetic since I was 10 years old, and I work in Bangalore with Amazon.
Ami?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Myself, Ami Patel, and I am suffering from gestation diabetes.
Deepika, can you say a little
Yeah,
about yourself?
hi all. I am type 2 diabetic since 17 years and I am based in Pune.
Ruchi?
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm actually, you can say a type 2 diabetic, but a secondary diabetic because my diabetic was steroid induced way back in 2018. And it's been 4 years. In addition to being a diabetic myself, I'm a caregiver for a type 1 too. My son is type 1 diabetic.
So I think only I'm left. Hi everyone, I'm Nishtha. I am type 1.5 diabetic or LADA, and it's about to be my anniversary in a couple of days as well. And a little more than a toddler now, so it's going to be about 9 years. Big landmark day coming up. So since we're all talking about our, everyone mentioned about how their diabetes, how old their diabetes is. Can you guys tell me a little about, how it felt when you were first diagnosed, and what were the challenges? What were the initial challenges that came across when you were first told that you have diabetes? Ketki, let's start with you since it's a landmark day tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. So to be very honest, none of us, like when I say none of us, my parents, my friends, anybody around me knew that there can be something called as diabetes in kids. All we knew was diabetics cannot eat sweets, and I was really happy about it. To be very honest, I'll not lie. I never liked sweets. But you eventually realize in a couple of weeks that it's much, much more than that.
Yeah,
The kind of pressure you get, in terms of having restrictions on food and how much you can exercise. And to be very true, 18 years ago we didn't have the kind of resources that we have today. Like the CGM was just a thought at that time. What if I could just check my sugar every now and then, which was not possible, so you didn't know. So I think the biggest challenge that came in was unawareness or unacceptance. We were just not ready to accept that something like this can happen to a kid who has a very healthy lifestyle. I was into a lot of sports and I was very active, and then why did it happen in the first place? So I think that's the first major roadblocker that everybody has to deal with, that why it happened, what happened.
yeah. I see what you're saying. Yes. Deepika, what about you? Like, did how long ago were you diagnosed, and how's it been like when you were first
Yeah,
told?
yeah. Actually, I was diagnosed 17 years back, and like I was an adult. It was not like I was a child. It was easy to handle, but not so easy to handle because diabetes is like we have daily challenges to deal with. So when I was diagnosed, actually it is hereditary because my father was diabetic. So actually my thumb was paining little weird since 2 months or so. So my mother told me go and check for diabetes. So we checked, and then we came to know that I am diabetic. And then it was tough, like, and I have a sweet tooth, so it was really tough for me. Like Ketki saying that she was happy, but I was sad because my the first concern was, oh my god, now I can't eat sweets. So that was the main concern. But from the first day, my doctor said like go on insulin. That will be better for you. So like on since 17 years I'm on insulin, and I think that is the best part because everybody knows that insulin is safer than medicines, and I'm on insulin.
Right. Ruchi, how about you? What were the initial challenges that you think you faced?
Uh, I had to be put on insulin because my HbA1c was 10 when it was diagnosed. When
Right.
I just took a glucometer test and it was around 400. It was a shock for everybody because we actually had not actually come in terms with my son being detected. It was another 4 years back. He was detected in 2014, and the major concern was not food actually, or insulin or things, but the related aspects that and I had to go through a lot of struggle because even the insulin was not working.
Okay.
Even now, even if I take insulin or I do not take insulin, the sugars are same.
Okay.
That is a bigger issue, I think. Since you are also been facing LADA, I think people with that kind of stage do recognize that insulin resistance is a very big factor where actually insulin doesn't work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that is more of a distressing part because in spite of everything, I spend around physical activity 1 hour a day every day. I am running almost 5 kilometers daily on an average, or maybe cycling say 20, 25, or even 50 kilometers. But at the end of the day, again the sugar is above 200. So it sometimes get very depressing. Yes,
It's a challenge. I understand.
it's
Yeah,
a challenge.
absolutely.
It's a real challenge every day.
I want to ask Ami. Ami, you actually let's try and do a little bit of English Hindi mix so that सबको सबको समझ में आए. अमी, आपका डायबिटीज है जेस्टेशनल डायबिटीज जो
जी
हम
हाँ,
में से
बिल्कुल।
सबसे अलग है एट द मोमेंट. तो जब आपको पता चला, आपका ऑब्वियसली इट्स अ वेरी बिग स्टेज इन लाइफ वेर यू आर ऑलरेडी हैविंग टू डील विद इतनी सारी चीजें हो रही है अराउंड योर प्रेगनेंसी, और साथ में आपको पता चलता है डायबिटीज के बारे में. तो आपको आपके इनिशियल चैलेंजेस स्टार्टिंग स्टार्टिंग में आपको क्या लगता है थे?
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल द चैलेंज वाज द इंसुलिन, कि मुझे
हम्म.
इंसुलिन लेना है, बिकॉज द सेफ थिंग जेस्टेशन डायबिटीज में वही होता है कि आपको इंसुलिन लेना है. तो वो एक बात बहुत सही थी कि मुझे उसको एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था. दूसरी बात देखने जाए तो अगर किसी को भी घर में या इसको किसी को भी पता चलेगा तो बोलेंगे अरे आपको डायबिटीज हो गया है, आप इंजेक्शन ले रहे हो, आपको आप ले रहे हो तो आपके बेबी को भी होगा. तो वो सब जो नहीं होता है, नेगेटिविटी ज्यादा होती है, टेंशन होता है, बोले आप ये नहीं खा सकते, आप चावल नहीं खा सकते, आप रोटी नहीं खा सकते. बट मैं अभी बताऊं तो मैं सब कुछ खा पी सकती हूँ. मुझे एक नॉर्मल ऐसे जो प्रेगनेंसी में लेडीज रहती है मैं वैसे ही रह रही हूँ. मुझे कुछ ऐसा वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ज्यादातर.
ये बहुत
That's it.
इंस्पिरेशनल बात है दैट लाइक आप एक्चुअली दूसरों की बातें ना सुनते हुए यू आर
जी
लीडिंग
हाँ.
लाइक अ हेल्दी प्रेगनेंसी द टाइम वेयर यू आर सपोज्ड टू बी लाइक
जी हाँ,
enjoying
बिल्कुल.
your journey. That's very
Yeah,
inspirational, Abhi.
because
That's
after
really cool.
12 years, I'm get pregnant. That's way of marriage.
Congratulations, Amit. Seriously, this is really good. I'm just going to quickly ask Nupur to just establish my point about the challenges that come along. What were your initial challenges, you would say?
So I was diagnosed when I was in childhood, and I think the burden was more my parents than my own. तो टेंशन उनको ज़्यादा था, मेरे फैमिली मेंबर्स को, मेरे मम्मी और पापा को ज़्यादा था. मुझे आई थिंक सेफ टू से कोई टेंशन नहीं था. एक्चुअली मैं बोर हो गई थी. तो जब मैं डायग्नोज हुई थी और हॉस्पिटलाइज हुई थी, उस टाइम पे कुछ दिन हॉस्पिटल में होते हैं, एंड फॉर अबाउट maybe about 4-5 days we were in the hospital, and I was utterly bored. I wasn't upset. My parents were upset, and it was actually very upsetting to see my parents cry, because as a child, for the first time, मुझे ये लगा कि मैंने क्या कर दिया कि मम्मी और पापा रो रहे हैं, मैंने कुछ गलत तो नहीं किया. So the diagnosis was not a big deal for me at that point. It was life changing for them, and then my mom comes and tells me that, hey, you know what, she tried to explain to me that you have something called juvenile diabetes. उस time पे juvenile diabetes बोला करते थे, not type 1. And she said, आपको injection लगाना पड़ेगा रोज. Well, luckily for me, I was never scared of injections as such. I mean, I was just like, okay, whatever, we'll take it as it comes. So my initial sort of thoughts on diagnosis were, I just want to go home, and so that was all that was in my child's mind.
Yeah, I
But I
understand.
understand.
So,
Sorry, I just want to say that I understand as an adult, it's a whole different thing, right? Like you have a before and an after. I could eat
yeah.
so many things, and now I suddenly can't. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, even Surbi saying something that I wanted to actually talk about. She said, I used to think, why me? I used to curse my doctor. It took me around a year or two to forgive him for putting me on insulin. I was admitted to the hospital for 2-3 days. I was kind of all right there, but couldn't fathom life, what it would be post that as a diabetic. I think the reason why मैंने सबको इस बारे में पूछा कि diagnosis की story बताइए, because जैसे नुपुर ने भी पॉइंट आउट किया, एक बिफोर और आफ्टर, बहुत सारे लोगों का बिफोर और आफ्टर काइंड ऑफ लाइफ हो जाता है. और ये डॉक्टर को फॉरगिव करने वाली बात मेरे साथ भी हुई थी जब मुझे इनिशियली टाइप 2 डायग्नोज किया गया था, एंड उसके 6 या 7 साल बाद पता चला कि मुझे एक्चुअली टाइप 1.5 डायबिटीज है. तो ये जो जर्नी होता है, आई थिंक ऑलरेडी इतना स्ट्रेसफुल होता है, and as women, I think हमारे हमारे साथ तो और भी like Ketki and Nupur will know that एक तो growing up as a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and Ami who's already going through a gestational period of diabetes and all of that. There's so many changes that come along with your mind, body, all of it. How do you guys have the power to deal with it? आप लोग का, like, what is that one source of power that comes to you, and what are these 2 3 things that आप लोग करते हो ताकि आप अपने आप को पावर कर सको throughout the time? Let me start with Ruchi.
I keep myself busy.
Mhm.
That's the best part. I'm a working architect and I'm a teacher too. So I think that helps in lot many things because more into compartmentalization. Also, this period has also brought a focus to myself. I think I was giving too much to others, which made me realize that I need to focus on myself, take care of myself too. Only then I'll be able to take care of others.
Right. And Ruchi, you're also a caregiver. तो जो आपने अपने में भी देखा होगा, आपके सन में भी देखा होगा, डायबिटीज बर्नआउट जो होता है एक फेज जहाँ पे आप इतना इतना परेशान हो गए होते हो अपने डायबिटीज से, दैट कभी कभी आपको ऐसा लगता है तो मुझे चेक ही नहीं करना है, मुझे छोड़ो यार, आज चेक ही नहीं करते हैं, या आज छोड़ो, मैं कुछ कुछ कार्ब भी खा लेती हूँ, कुछ स्वीट खा लेती हूँ. केतकी माइट नॉट एसोसिएट विद हैविंग समथिंग स्वीट. ये एक एकमात्र ओनली पैनलिस्ट हो यार जिसको कुछ स्वीट पसंद
No,
नहीं है,
no,
ऐसा
but it
लग रहा है
happens
मुझे.
with me as well. Burnout is,
बट
I think, one thing common with everyone, I think.
या तो रुचि, आप
I
आपने
think
दो अलग टाइप के डायबिटीज
we
देखे हैं, राइट?
both have become a source of inspiration for each other. My
दैट इज
son has
अमेजिंग.
actually is now 18, almost 18, and he's tried understanding his issues and he's trying to manage it himself too. He's into
राइट.
the process of it. So
राइट.
I think we have been we keep each suggesting each other don't eat this or maybe the other way around so things can be managed in a better way.
It's very helpful to have somebody who understands your type of living at the same time, right? It's quite nice to have your son around for this.
Plus, when my son was diagnosed, after that, I think we, all my family members, we all have the same kind of food system. So there's no
Okay.
special food being cooked for anybody. We all are eating the same food.
Yeah.
That is why it came as more surprise to me because I was already on a low carb diet. In addition to it, it happened, and sometimes it happens that what you said that it's a burnout that you don't know what to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Right. Deepika, you've had diabetes for 17 years. I'm sure आपको भी ऐसा कभी फेज आया होगा that मुझे आज चेक ही नहीं कर रहा है शुगर मेरा, आज छोड़ो, आज दो दिन मैं भूल जाती हूँ कि मुझे डायबिटीज है. आपको लगता है like is it a thing with you?
It
आपके साथ हुआ है?
Yeah, it happens and it happens very often actually. It is really difficult to stay in that routine to check sugars daily 4 times, 5 times. And I'm not using CGM, so definitely I have to check many times,
Mhm.
multiple times. But yes, burnout होता है, and I feel like नहीं आज तो मुझे sweet खाना ही है. वो होता है I take, but I take very little portion just to satisfy कि भाई आज खाया है मैंने स्वीट थोड़ा, एंड देन दैट गिल्ट कम्स विच शुड नॉट कम एक्चुअली. खाओ
Yeah.
तो फिर गिल्ट फ्री खाओ कि भाई ठीक है नेक्स्ट 10 डेज अभी मुझे टच भी नहीं करना है या देखना भी नहीं है, बट वो गिल्ट आ जाता है. एंड दिस हैपन्स बट कांट हेल्प.
Yeah. Can't help it. Yeah. Ketki, how about you? Have you had like how like phases of burnout, and how have you dealt with the whole situation?
I would actually want to quote a situation. Nishta, I just feel that by the time I grew up, my diabetes was pretty old. Because when
Yeah.
I turned 20, my diabetes was already 10. So I think my major challenge happened when I was a child. And the kind of challenges you face as a child are very different than you face as an adult. Because when you're a child, you are unaware of what is happening, and everybody around you is unaware. So I actually want to target all the people who have children here who are diabetic. there is a lot that happens in a child's life, in school, in tuitions, and when they play sports, people around them. And I myself have been through a lot of bullying at school, which is a little now that I think about it, it's very hurtful. And at that time,
Hmm.
people would just tease you for what you do, and they would make comments on you, and it's very draining out, to be very honest. It's very exhausting. So this one fine day, I just went home and I cried my heart out, and the only question I asked my mother was, इसमें मेरी क्या गलती है माँ? मैं क्या कर सकती थी? And I think that is one question I am very confident that anybody who is very young, or a child, they would think about it कि मुझे क्यों हुआ? And that's the exact thing why I was smiling when I saw this message from Surbhi कि why me? मुझे क्यों हुआ? And I think the biggest strength that we can give children is to keep reiterating that it's not only them. That is
Yeah.
precisely what my parents did कि आपको नहीं है बेटा अकेले को. I met a lot and lots of diabetic friends around me. In Nagpur we have this whole foundation where we meet yearly. We read about it, and I've realized this, that the only thing that helps, really helps, being a diabetic is only knowledge. It's only facts. The more you read about it and more you understand कि नहीं ठीक है, normal life हो सकती है. आई थिंक दैट्स व्हाट मेरे पेरेंट्स ने बार बार मुझे बताया. उन्होंने कभी मुझे स्पोर्ट्स खेलने से नहीं रोका. सो दे वुड जस्ट टेल मी कि आज अच्छा स्पोर्ट्स खेला है ना, आज शुगर चेक कर लो. सो दैट दे टाइड इट बैक टू व्हाट आई लाइक. कि ठीक है, इसको पढ़ना पसंद है तो पढ़ाई के बाद बोल दो, खेलना पसंद है खेलने के बाद बोल दो. सो दैट काइंड ऑफ आई ट्राई टू स्टिल डू इट. अभी भी होता है बर्नआउट, अभी भी लगता है कि अरे यार क्या है, लाइक कॉन्स्टेंटली चेकिंग. अभी भी लगता है इतना स्पाइक क्यों हुआ. But I think I've also tied it back to motivation. एक बार
Yeah.
शुगर चेक करोगे and अगर वो गलत आ गया, like एकदम खराब आ गया, then you get motivated कि मुझे इसे सुधारना है. And एक बार वो सुधर जाएगा तो फिर से motivation आता है कि चेक करना है. So maybe a lot of positive reinforcement is what helps. कि it's just that one time when you check it. So that's
That is
about.
that's so pertinent कि it's a constant cycle ना, मतलब रुक नहीं सकते, अपने आप को positively reinforce करना ही पड़ेगा. मुझे before I ask another question, मुझे अमी से जानना था. अमी, आपको भी burnout हुआ है? Because आपको कभी ऐसा लगा है that ओ आज तो छोड़ ही दो यार, डायबिटीज भूल जाते हैं थोड़े टाइम के लिए? अमी, you're on mute. You're on mute.
बिल्कुल ऐसा होता है क्योंकि हमें प्रेगनेंसी में क्रेविंग्स होती है, ये खाना है वो खाना है, और मुझे कार्ब्स खाने की क्रेविटी ज्यादा होती थी. जैसे मुझे आलू खाना अच्छा लगता है, डोसा खाना अच्छा लगता है, तो क्या कर सकते हैं. But before I used to take that type of meal, I used to check my sugar regularly. बिकॉज हर डायबिटीज में रेगुलरली चेकअप तो जरूरी होता ही है, शुगर मॉनिटरिंग का. पर जब भी आप जेस्टेशन डायबिटीज में हो तो ज्यादा जरूरी हो जाता है कि अगर आपको कुछ चाहिए, अगर आपको कुछ अलग आपके डाइट से अगर आपको जाना है, तो ऑफ कोर्स यू शुड चेक एंड देन यू हैव टू गो विद दैट मील.
Yeah. Nupur, I think some part, like last word about burnout from you, because you also, like Ketki, have had diabetes for like very long. So obviously you had phases कि मुझे भी burnout लग रहा है. तो how, कैसे डील करें इसके साथ, burnout के साथ?
यस तो निष्ठा, मेरा जो डायग्नोसिस था वो आई थिंक मेरे लिए पर्सनली स्मूथ सेलिंग था, बिकॉज आई वाज स्मॉल, पेरेंट्स का टेंशन है, देख लेंगे एंड ऑल दैट. लेकिन जब मैं टीनेज इयर्स पे पहुंची, उस टाइम पे आई हैड अ वेरी रफ टाइम, बिकॉज आई डिडंट इवन नो कि बर्नआउट जैसा कोई वर्ड होता है या इसको बर्नआउट बोलते हैं.
बराबर.
सालों साल ये चला और मुझे पता ही नहीं था. मतलब मैं घर पे, आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि ये करना चाहिए, लेकिन मैं घर पे झूठ भी बोलती थी कि इफ माय मदर वुड आस्क मी आपने शुगर चेक कर लिया, मैंने कहा हाँ कर लिया, बट आई हैव नॉट चेक माय शुगर. मैं बंडल मारती थी बहुत सारा. आई मीन इट इज नॉट ओके टू डू दिस, बट lot of us have done it, and I used to fudge my readings. जब डॉक्टर को नोटबुक दिखाते थे तब मैं कुछ भी लिख रही थी उसमें, और फिर उस टाइम पे एज अ यंग पर्सन वी डोंट रियलाइज, बट देन व्हेन द HbA1c कम्स इन, उस दिन तो बस फिर क्लास लगनी है, बिकॉज तब पकड़े जाते हैं. तो आई वेंट थ्रू ऑल ऑफ दिस विदाउट रियलाइजिंग दैट आई एम गोइंग थ्रू सम काइंड ऑफ क्राइसिस. And it's tough, right? Because I mean, both my parents are working. I have a younger sister, so they have to try and kind of balance parenting two children, work, everything at home, and I just kind of went bouncing from one thing to another. And I think the couple of things, like, based on what everyone has said as well, one, like Ketki said, knowledge hona bahut zaruri hai. Second, community support मिलना, to be able to say this openly कि हाँ मैं झूठ बोलती थी घर पे जब मैं छोटी थी, या whatever, without the fear कि कोई मुझे judge करेगा या कोई
Yeah.
सोचेगा that this is not right. And of course, third, it really helps to have a supportive, group of friends and family as well. So these are things that have helped me.
Nupur, when you were telling this, मुझे एक चीज रियलाइज हुआ that बहुत कम लोग बात करते हैं about caregiver burnout भी होता होगा कितने लोगों को. Because if you are a child and आपको इतना फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा है, आपके parents की responsibility है. I can see Ruchi smiling about this because she herself is a caregiver and she is dealing with her own diabetes situation. Ruchi, you want to add anything to that?
Sorry.
You're mute.
Yes, it does happen, definitely. And especially difficult during the teenage years, as Nupur told.
Yeah.
And I'm going through that period, I think, for the last 4.5, 5 years. And I don't know what induced, what happened, but yes, at times it gets difficult to handle. Even it is a great toll on their health too.
Yeah.
And
Understandably.
won't blame the kids, but even kids do not realize it. As
It's very
adults you
difficult.
do,
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
adults you do, but not as kids.
Yeah. Punita has just commented saying the same thing. I was about to ask about how to deal with caregiver burnout when small kids are diabetic and hardly listen to you. Uh, Nupur, Ketki, Ruchi, all three of you can have something to say about this from both sides of the fence. Ketki, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can try to take a shot at it. Because दो तीन चीजें एकदम without non-negotiable मेरे parents ने ये किए. I hope they are seeing this video, though I don't know. Is to not change anything in my life. I was a very hardcore sports person. मुझे किसी क्लास से निकाला नहीं गया, मुझे बिल्कुल ये बताया नहीं गया कि आप अब ये नहीं कर सकते हो. आप क्या नहीं कर सकते हो ये प्लीज that is one way you can reinforce on your kids कि ठीक है. So when I was thinking कि ये session में हमें क्या बोलना है, there's one simple analogy I have made. Diabetes is like चश्मा लगना for me. हम किसी को जाके ये तो नहीं कहते कि आपकी आंखें काम नहीं करती है, आप हैंडीकैप्ड हो. We never say that. Then why are we saying it to a diabetic? मेरे पैनक्रियाज नहीं काम करते, मैं बाहर से चश्मा लगा रही हूँ, which is my insulin. Let's make it that easy for kids also to understand. It is painful. I know. I was very small when diabetes happened to me. But how we probably reinforce it on kids has a little bit of that way has to change, and we have to normalize this कि मैं ये क्यों नहीं खा सकती. Probably we have to tell them in a way that ये सब junk food खाना ही नहीं चाहिए, बाकी बच्चे गलत खा रहे हैं, आप अच्छा खा रहे हो. And this is going to help you in much better ways when you can just give examples of how they don't fall sick a lot anymore because they have a good diet. इस type की थोड़ी चीजें I think may help condition the kids better for the outlook perspective, so to say, in life. Perspective. I think it's about the perspective.
Nupur, how do you make it easier for yourself if your child is having diabetes, not listening?
Yeah, if I may make a suggestion to the caregivers as a, person with T1 and who's grown up with T1, sometimes what happens is we tend to overstress on the child that has T1, and मेरे parents कई बार बोलते थे that, they would feel guilty that they are forgetting my sister, because इतना सारा टाइम और एनर्जी इन्वेस्ट हो जाता है T1 बच्चे में, because you're literally keeping that child alive, with your dosing decisions and everything. So please, first of all, like, try not to feel guilty. It is normal to feel guilty. Please don't feel guilty. You're doing your best. You're also a human being. It's okay to make mistakes. One time I got a phone call from a parent in the night, and she started crying. And the reason why she was crying was because गलती से Lantus की जगह पे उन्होंने Novo Rapid लगा दिया. So she really panicked. She was like, I am so sorry. Like, just relax. It's fine. You're doing, especially mothers, really hats off. Of course, dads as well. But I think in most of the cases, moms are the primary caregivers for children with T1. And what you're doing is like unimaginable. It's a thankless job. As a child with T1 also, I didn't thank my parents enough, and now I realize that they've really gone through a lot. It's easier being the T1 rather than being the parent. So don't be so hard on yourself. Take out some time for yourself. Do your regular 1 hour ka walk ya yoga ya jo bhi hai. And looking at you, I think your child will also realize that if my parent is not eating junk, if my parent is exercising, I need to do the same thing. So if you walk the talk, that's easier than ज्ञान देना किसी को. मतलब no one likes to receive it, right? And especially children
Yeah,
and teenagers. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
How I
You know,
managed things was, I think we turned the same diet for everybody in the home. So if we are eating an ice cream as a reward for the day, end of the day, it's 1 spoon of ice cream for everybody. So it's for everybody, or as a late night snack. And the same goes for a mango. One mango divided into five, and things like that. I think made a lot of difference.
That's very cool. इतनी सारी बातें हो रही है इस बारे में, मेरे को वही लग रहा है कि एज विमेन हम लोगों को कितना कुछ साथ में जगल करना पड़ता है, राइट? लाइक आवर ओन लाइव्स, आवर हेल्थ, आवर डायबिटीज, एंड अगर कोई केसेस में बच्चे हैं तो उनको भी साथ में अपने हेल्थ के साथ साथ जगल करना पड़ता है एंड स्टफ. तो एक एक बैलेंस बनाना जहाँ पे आपका हेल्थ उतना ही इम्पोर्टेंट है जितना आपका बाकी बाकी की चीजें जो हो रही है लाइफ में वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. वो बैलेंस कैसे बनाया जाए? हाउ आर यू गाइस डूइंग इट? अमी, यू वांट टू टेल अस?
Uh,
अमी, you're on
yeah,
mute.
I of course do. As every person who is with the diabetes has to do somewhat of the workout, but I'm on a
Mhm.
rest side more. So initially, I used to walk in my bedroom only after each meal, like after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner, nearby 10 to 15 minutes. And so I used to do workout like that only. I have to be careful regarding workout, regarding the diet, very much on the things. And regarding the stress, what to do, I used to do the activities which gives me more enjoy, which gives me more relaxation, like reading, like listening to the music. So I used to do that thing.
ये इतना इम्पोर्टेंट है ना थोड़ा मी टाइम निकालना, वो बिकॉज ये भी अपना हेल्थ को इतना अफेक्ट कर सकता है कि कीप योरसेल्फ स्ट्रेस फ्री बाय इंडल्जिंग इन हॉबीज, कुछ ना कुछ करते रहो. दीपिका, हाउ डू यू जगल योर डेली लाइफ एंड योर हेल्थ टुगेदर?
Yeah, and plus I have a 5 years old kid, so managing her also. So it's not easy. And as the saying is, health is wealth. So obviously you have to keep your physically fit and obviously mentally also to tackle kid first and then your diabetes. So what I do is I do yoga meditation, and then like I am an art and craft lover, and I keep making many things which I love. So I have a huge amount of stock at home for art and craft. I keep watching videos, 5 minutes craft, and I keep doing it. When she is in school, I make sure that at least half an hour, 45 minutes, I'm doing what I love. So that
Amazing.
way, yeah.
Ketki, what about you? How's your me time? How's your balance?
Uh, well, I think me time. I'll just re-emphasize on me time. What I also try to do a lot of times is I have pushed myself into multitasking. Like sometimes exercising gets very boring. I don't want to. I don't feel like exercising some days. I don't want to just go on a walk or do a run or anything. So I indulge myself into music or into watching videos while I do that, or some sort of uh, I glamorize the bad or the things that stress me out. Ki, okay, theek hai, let's cook something great today. I'll have a taste and maybe my family can have it or my friends can have it or whatever. So I think distraction is one thing I really use very often. Ki, theek hai, if something is stressing me out, I'll rather do something else.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think with work and living alone and with all the things you do in your life, it does get a little heavy on you sometimes. It does.
I I see that. Yeah. Nupur, what about you?
Oh, I just remembered, a few days back, Ketki had put a post of a lovely Mehendi ka tattoo that she made
Yes.
around the Libre, and it was so beautiful. We have such amazing, talented, artistic people. So art-wise, तो I'm really bad. लेकिन I think I agree with everyone else कि me time निकालना खुद के लिए बहुत जरूरी है, and sometimes I fail. But I keep reminding myself that I'm trying my best, and even if things are a little bit out of balance, I try to get back on track. So I before we started our video today, I thought let me finish off my walking for the day. तो मेरा एक वो to do list में से निकल गया. I enjoy spending some time by myself outside in the open, just enjoying the weather. So that's something I like doing, and I think it's really important also to have some boundaries, because sometimes as women, इंडियन सोसाइटी में क्या हो जाता है कि ठीक है, मतलब घर पे आपको कई सारी चीजें बैलेंस करने हैं. लॉट ऑफ लेडीज हैव टू मैनेज देयर ओन पेरेंट्स, देयर इन लॉज, देयर चिल्ड्रन, देयर they may be diabetic themselves, they may also be a caregiver. It's so much to handle, it's so
Yeah.
overwhelming. Nishta, like you said before, we put ourselves last. So I think we have to remind ourselves that it's not, ये बुरी बात नहीं है कि हम अपने आप को संभालें. We cannot pour from an empty cup. So, oftentimes the people reach out to me a lot, and I feel very overwhelmed sometimes, with all the messages or everything coming in. But I try to sort of keep my boundaries, and that is something I
Mm.
struggle with personally sometimes. I feel like, okay, I must reply immediately or I must do something immediately, but it's I have to remind myself that's not important. I as long as in here I'm peaceful and happy, everything else follows.
So right, Nupur. The whole thing about prioritizing yourself should be destigmatized, especially when it comes to women. I think a lot of us tend to take up a lot more responsibility than we really should, and kind of put ourselves a little lower down the order of prioritizing. And I think that's one lesson all of us will take today. I think कि अपने आप को prioritize करना is not a bad thing. Yeah, Ruchi, what do you think?
True. We need to do that. Otherwise, we cannot actually take care of other responsibilities.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really agree with what Nupur said. We can an empty cup. We cannot do anything about it. Then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm gonna ask you guys a question that Nupur also thought was very important. Uh, just like a few days ago, also on the group, somebody had spoken about how difficult it can get for women living with diabetes to find a life partner, because a lot of people tend to say कि आपको डायबिटीज है, हो सकता है it's going to be a burden for us to deal with, and हो सकता है it gets carried forward as you may have kids. uh, ऐसे social situations के बारे में, like I just want to take like everyone's opinion on what social challenges women specifically face and how to deal with all of that. Ami, I thought I saw you up. You were nodding your head quite a bit. What do you think about
Yes,
dealing with
I
such
have
situations?
seen. Yeah, I have seen one or two cases like that also. from one of my class only. My classmate, she was suffering from a type 1 diabetes. From, I can say, nearby, she was in the first standard and she was suffering. She can't, from that time, she used to make too many of the restrictions were there. Her parents, her even the teachers of the class used to tell her restrictions, don't do this thing, don't give chocolate on birthday to that girl, like that. And
Right.
after that, she used to, at the time of the marriage age, she was not able to find a partner because due to this thing, and this caused her too much of the depression and she just suicide. So it's so
Did we
difficult.
lose Anu?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it was so difficult that she suffered so much of the depression from the society, and like that, that she gone taken the step of the suicide due to this just
oh,
one type
that's
1 of the
horrible.
diabetes. The people and the society is not understanding that the who person or a lady is suffering from the diabetes is also human. She has also right to live the life.
Yeah, yeah. Nupur, you want to talk about the thread that Blue Circle has been doing?
Yes, yes. Thanks, Mr. I'm so sorry, Ami, about your friend. It's really sad. And this is
Yeah,
very true. And thanks for remembering to sort of bring this up. It's a huge problem. And I think quickly, I'll talk about the marriage thread first. So we have an initiative on our Facebook group. You can see on the ticker here, Diabetes Support Network India. ये नाम है group का. आप अगर group में नहीं हैं और जुड़ना चाहें, you're most welcome to join. On the featured posts, which is on top, when you go to the group and scroll through the featured posts on the top, you'll see something called a marriage thread. I'll put it into the comment section as well. If you live with diabetes, any type, and you're looking for a partner, you can put in your short introduction, your photograph, whatever details you want. Introduce yourself there. There are a set of rules and regulations that you must follow that are mentioned in the post. And this is not any kind of a service. It's just a community initiative. So the onus of searching for a partner is yours. So if you go through the comments and you feel like you like somebody, please DM them and take it ahead. There is no facilitator to make you talk. So because sometimes I get this question that a lot of people, okay, I've introduced myself, what next? I haven't Nobody's reached out to me. So you reach out to someone, have a respectful kind of introduction, discussion, and I think this is a big problem. A lot of people have this, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is really, because it's beyond our individual selves, right? It's society at large
yeah,
that views, especially a woman with type 1 diabetes or any kind of diabetes, as some kind of a defective piece, or something like that, if I could say so, as a T1 myself. It's not right, that's true. But now we're in this situation, and how do we deal with it? I mean, I guess my suggestion is to just go out there, search for people. If your goal is
yeah.
to get married, put yourself out, you look for people, and take matters into your own hands.
Yeah. I think before I ask you, Ketki, also, I think one of the things that I also said on the thread, and I really believe, is that it's there are good people out there who will, not uh, who will treat your diabetes the way it really should be, which is just another thing that needs to be dealt with on a day-to-day basis, and that's it. Being a supportive partner for any sort of disease should really not be that much of a tall task, honestly. And always, you need to think about the fact that what happens if you're already married and your partner is diagnosed with something like diabetes. How will you deal with it? It's not something that you're going to run away from, right? But I guess it just goes on to show that as a society, like Nupur mentioned, we have a lot of ground to cover. Like, for example, like when I got married, my I was supposedly still type 2 back then. My own dad was a little worried about the fact that, despite the fact that I had gone out and found myself a partner, whether he would still be accepting. He needed to hear it from my to be husband's mouth that yes, it's okay that she has diabetes and I'm okay with her having diabetes and all of that. And तब जाके उनको थोड़ी तसल्ली मिली कि okay, I think this is going to be uh, fine and this is going to work out. So as a society only, I think even though my parents will never go ahead and like make me feel like I am I am not normal according to society standards, but it was so necessary for them to see that दूसरे लोग भी same page पे होने चाहिए at that point of time. तो yeah, as a society इतना progress होने के बाद और थोड़ा progress हमारा बच गया है. Ketki, I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I think for some reason, fortunately or unfortunately, in this whole panelist, I am the most apt example for this because I'm standing right in the door of marriage when my parents have started looking for me. They've started asking if how should we go about it and stuff like that. I see this challenge is multifold. A lot of men who reach out to me for marriage, be it in a love marriage setup like some of my friends, or even in a arranged marriage setup, matrimony setup, what I have observed is that today's boys know a little bit about it. Some people read about it, or when you guide them through it, they understand. The bigger challenge comes in when their families don't know about it.
Right.
And when you actually get married, you wouldn't want that your partner is okay to just have it. Yeah, accepting diabetes is a very big term which people don't understand very easily. It's not about just letting your partner be insulin dependent. It is more so to do with how should I take care of the person when they are in a hypoglycemia, when they get highs. What kind of environment am I supposed to be keeping at my home, because stress will impact her or his or her blood sugars. What kind of diet are we supposed to be having? And on top of that, ensuring that mental well-being, that okay,
Mm.
it's not like we have a physically disabled person at home. That is one thing I make sure that whichever prospective guy I'm talking to, I ask them that I need you to discuss this with your family. I don't want just your verbal approval that this is okay. I want you to discuss it at length with your family, and because quite naturally, I think people are scared of if the children will get diabetes because I am a diabetic. So I encourage people to read a lot, but I think it's easier said than done because मैं बोल रही हूँ कि ऐसा ऐसा मैं कर रही हूँ, बट मेरे पेरेंट्स के साथ कुछ और ही हो रहा है. उन्हें जो लग रहा है इन देयर शूज की शायद हमें कहीं पे कॉम्प्रोमाइज करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि
Mm.
बेटी की हेल्थ थोड़ी सी अच्छी नहीं है. सो मे बी हमें लड़के में अगर कोई कमी है तो वी शुड बी फाइन एंड ऑल. At a parent level, it's much difficult to deal with this situation when it comes to marriage, and I think awareness, like I said, ki jitna it's going to take a lot of time, but what I have myself started doing is जिससे भी मैं बात करूं, in the first conversation I call it out that this is what it is.
Yeah.
Please ask me questions. ये मेरा favorite topic है. आप मुझसे सवाल पूछिए, but please बिना इसके बारे में जाने हाँ या ना मत कहिए, because none of us wants to regret it later. That's one thing I'm making sure through communication.
This is so good actually, केतकी, because मैंने खुद ने 2-3 एग्जांपल्स देखे हैं जहाँ पे लोग बोलते हैं कि आपको डायबिटीज है तो अभी बताओ मत, थोड़ा रुक जाओ, थोड़ा बात आगे बढ़ने दो. And that is also not good. Like the onus is also on you to be open and fair because you would want the person marrying you to be open and fair about all their issues and all their non-negotiables. Like your diabetes is a non-negotiable. ये ऐसी बात नहीं है कि हम शादी के बाद डिस्कस कर लेंगे या कुछ. अ, शादी के अराउंड बात आती है तो ये सब डिस्कस करना नेसेसरी हो जाता है. एब्सोल्युटली. दीपिका, you also, you've been nodding your head. I want you also to tell me what your thoughts are about this.
Yeah, actually, जैसे आपने बोला, first we should be transparent. Like
Yeah.
we should tell that we are diabetic because it's not a small decision; it's lifetime decision. और बाद में बता के भी it will not be easy things to handle. So पहले ही
Yeah.
transparent होके we tell is really good. If I tell about myself, mine is love marriage, but I was diagnosed after my marriage 2 years later, and but society is not accepting easily, which that I understand. I think awareness is one thing. People are not aware. They are just scared कि हाँ भाई diabetes है, वो डर जाते हैं कि भाई it's a difficult task. They know the overall picture. They don't know internal things, and they are scared कि भाई आगे बच्चों को भी हो जाएगी without knowing each and everything. So it is difficult, I know, and all the best for those who are in this situation.
रुचि, आप आपको लगता है that sometimes ऐसा थोड़ा लेंस अलग हो जाता है women who are diabetic and looking for partners versus like men maybe?
Yes, maybe, but transparency has to be there in any
Both
case.
sides. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. You know what, guys? I think because we are a little short on time, I want us to end on like a good note. Let's talk about like social settings and parties and all of that. सब बाहर जाते हैं, सबको अच्छा खाने का मन करता है. आप लोग के साथ कभी ऐसा हुआ है that आप बाहर गए हैं and your favorite food is there, and how have you gone around trying to like cheat, and how have you like dealt with a situation where it's a social setting? Ketki?
Oh, I do have my cheat days. I'll be very honest. I do have cheat meals.
What do you like
Uh,
eating? Because I remember last time on chat you said that you too love sev puri.
yeah, I love sev puri. I love sev puri more than pani puri. Some people don't
Yes,
like
same.
me because of that. um, so I have learned this with calculation only. I've learned this ki two sev puris is one chapati. So I try to do my math, carb counting. Um, and of course, I mean, carb counting is like involuntarily people can wake us up and ask now ki kitna khana hai and all of that. But I'll be very honest. I've learned this funda, and one of my doctors have told me when I was a child, because I used to ask क्या नहीं खा सकते. बच्चों को हमेशा लगता है ना कि there are so many restrictions. So I asked what can I not eat. So my doctor very clearly told me this. क्या खाना है ये क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है. आप कुछ भी खाओ. कितना खाना है is the question. And I
Nice.
strictly follow that. Like I eat everything from pizza to fries to I just take a very small portion, and to subside my guilt I'll have salads and proteins. I am a protein fan. I love healthy food, so then I'll rather have paneer or soy
Yeah.
or something like that. So it's just a balance, but I am a proper party animal, and I'll dance my heart out to just burn those calories away right there. So yeah, I think it's all about the calculations and how you manage your insulin doses on that particular day in that social setting, because you also
That's
wouldn't want to
perfect.
misfit in the group. Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen. Ami, what are your like go-to cheat meals आजकल?
Cheat meals is not like that with me. As I'm in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, and we Gujus are like more good with sweets. And these days in Ahmedabad, we have so many sugar-free options over here also. I mean to say, like in traditional sweets also, and like ice creams also, from very good brand, we also get sugar-free ones. So, of course, I try my level best to go for sugar-free options.
Awesome. Ruchi, what have you been having these days? Cheat meals के हिसाब से?
I actually try to minimize the portions and le- taste the things and leave them.
Oh,
And in addition, I have more or less shifted my heavier bread meals like pizzas or things like that, which contain cheese, to lunch rather than the dinner. I
right.
have shifted my heavy meals from matlab, in my family, even all of us. Actually, we prefer, even if it's a birthday, it's better to have it on a Saturday lunch or a Sunday lunch. A family outing shifted to a weekend lunch. I think that has become more of a norm.
Group cheat day. It's a great concept.
And then everybody has to go for a 1 hour walk or a run.
Best. Everyone just stays fit together. The family that stays fit together stays healthy together. That's amazing. Deepika, what do you have any like cheat meal stories? Tell us something.
Yeah, yeah. Even I have cheat days, and I take portion control. and adjust my doses accordingly.
I have a story because Ketki and I were talking about Sev Puri. There was this one time, and ये सबसे ज्यादा problematic चीज हो गई थी मेरे लाइफ में, और मैं इतना डर गई हूँ ना उससे. एक बार मैंने सोचा थोड़ा चीट मील किया जाए, आज मैं शाम को सेव पूरी मंगा के खाने वाली हूँ. एंड उस प्रॉपरली डोज वोज ले लिया, एंड फिर थोड़ा मेरा ईमान ऐसा थोड़ा डगमगा गया, क्योंकि एक और सेव पूरी का पैकेट पड़ा था साइड में, एंड उसको भी थोड़ा 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 करते करते थोड़ा आधा तक हो गया. एंड मैं बोला आज तो बड़ा मजा आ गया, लाइक ओके ग्रेट, आई हैड अ ग्रेट चीट मील. एंड यही चीज जो मेरे को पहले मिलके किसी ने बता दिया होता ना पोर्शन कंट्रोल के बारे में, तो थोड़ा अच्छा हो जाता था, क्योंकि दैट अबाउट 2 or 3 hours later, I for the first and the last time in my life, I have gone up to 500 at that point of time. And then I have panicked and I have taken itna sara Novo Rapid, and then I have gone down to 50. एंड उस दिन का वो दिन था अबाउट 1 year ago, एंड आज का दिन है जब मैंने सेव पूरी खाई नहीं है बिल्कुल भी. एंड आई मिस सेव पूरी वेरी मच. सो केती, द नेक्स्ट टाइम यू आर हैविंग अ cheat day craving, please take like one extra puri for me also, while I stick to pani puri, which is the थोड़ा ऐसा blasphemous statement, but थोड़ा lower than सेव पूरी in my opinion. Sorry guys, अगर आप पानी पूरी fan हो तो I'm sorry about it. But before I end, I'm gonna ask Nupur also about her favorite cheat meal and any fun cheat meal stories if you've got.
Yeah, so I think मेरे इसमें I feel like a before and after mention करना चाहिए. तो there were times in my childhood जब मैं पॉकेट में खाना डाल करके चोरी छुप के मैं खा लेती थी. किसी ने मुझे मना नहीं किया था. My parents were always like आपको खाना है आप खाओ, बस बता दो और शॉट ले लो, and that's it. Nobody stopped me, but I don't know, mentally, you know, like I don't know, kids are kids, right? They do things, and I used to stuff my pockets and वो भी glucose biscuit. I mean, come on, ऐसे भी कुछ like छुपा के ले जा रहे हो तो क्या ही मतलब लेके गए. But so that is also one weird thing I have done. लेकिन अभी मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि my perspective has kind of changed over the years. Now I feel like I'm not being controlled or deprived by choice. मैं खाना चाह रही हूँ, and I'm picking the foods that I like. Like Ketki said, you know, I love my protein. So सेव पूरी की इतनी बात हुई तो आई थिंक मेरा जुगाड़ ये होगा कि मैं सेव पूरी से जो ऊपर वाला जो यू नो द कांदा टमाटर एवरीथिंग मैं वो खा लूं, एंड मेरी पूरी ना खाऊं. You know, so I would do some kind of a jugaad to make sure that I have fun also, and you know, I don't feel like I'm missing out.
I'm gonna try this trick the next time, Nupur. I'm gonna tell you if it is any like as good as the regular sev puri. तो try करना पड़ेगा.
Sorry, Nishta, I have to say this. I really have to say this. So there's another weird thing that I do with pizza. You know, last year when I was traveling, I was in Milan, and if you're in Italy and you don't eat pizza, तो किया ही क्या आपने फिर? तो I was like, pizza तो खाना है, लेकिन मैं low carb हूँ और मैं pizza नहीं खाती हूँ actually. Unless it's low carb pizza. So I was feeling very like, you know, dharam sankat in my head, like, oh God, I want it, but I don't want it. But, you know, so I just have the topping, you know, मैं pizza का सिर्फ वो cheese या chicken part खा लेती हूँ, and base, I leave it as it is. It is a little bit of wastage, and I, you know, ask for forgiveness in my head, but that's something I do with pizza.
Oh, ये भी हाँ
There's
Kirti.
this one suggestion I would rather give to everybody, I think. I don't know if it's just a Marathi thing, but there's something called bhakri, which is jawar ki roti. So हमारे घर में वो बनती थी because दादी used to like it a lot, and we did not like it at all as kids. We like normal roti. So uska we used to make a pizza. Like we would take a jawar roti and we would put all the topping on it, like onion, tomato, whatever you want to put on it. Maybe some substitutes for the pizza base may also work very well if people want to have pizza still. So there are good ways
You're
to have.
sounding like my mom, because बचपन में she used to also take that roti and then she's like हाँ बनाया ना पिज्जा खा लो अब तुम चुपचाप. So yeah, that has happened with, I think सबके साथ हो चुका है ऐसा थोड़ा
I want to
जुगाड़ू
share
पिज्जा.
something.
Yes.
When I used to make pasta for my kids for their lunch, it used to be approximately 60% vegetables and 40% pasta. So, and the kids got used to the taste. Now they do not eat any pasta outside because it's just pasta. Where are the vegetables?
मांग के extra veggies डलवा लो फिर.
So
Oh
they are
man.
not eating it outside, and even one of them, the younger one, was making fun of his friends. He just got those pastas in the sauce. It doesn't taste anything.
See, that's the
I
change
kind
I
of
was
miss.
mentioning. Ki kids need to know that this is the right food, and what we are rather having outside junk is not the right food. That is
Not
such
right.
a good benchmark to create, Ruchi. Very nice.
This seems like
And
the
at times
perfect.
he would say, "Just give me the vegetables sorted in the pasta sauce. Leave the pasta behind."
So nice.
Very cool. I think this seems like the perfect time. I think dot 1 hour mark पे where everyone has discussed दुनिया भर की चीजें, and then we've ended up with talking about our favorite cheat meals and our favorite food and our favorite food hacks. And like Prashant has said in the chat, and I think this is the best way to sign off: burn calories to respectfully earn calories. Cheat meal hak hai, and it's a reward. So let's end on a very amazing note. And because it's 6 o'clock, I think all of us will go and have something really amazing tonight as a cheat meal. And just wanted to sign off by saying thank you to everyone on the panel who's joined us today. And thank you to the audience who's been really, really cool in the chats. Also, a reminder to follow Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even LinkedIn. And don't forget that there are regular local meetups. You can find information on any of these social media channels. Don't forget to follow us and join us again next Sunday for another workshop. It's going to be cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
all.
Bye.
Thank you. Welcome. Bye.
Bye.